Every morning she walked the same route, two dogs, sunglasses, silence. To neighbors, she was quiet, polite, and unremarkable. But after nearly a decade of hunting, someone was finally watching. This wasn't just a woman walking her dogs. This was Sara Panitzki, the most wanted woman in Britain. Sara Panitzki was never supposed to become a criminal. She was born into privilege in a wealthy village near York. Her father was a successful property developer. She attended private school, she studied at the University of Manchester, and later earned a master's in business in Barcelona. It was a polished, respectable path, but it wouldn't last. In 2001, when Sara was just 19, her father was convicted of illegal property deals and sentenced to prison. Sara moved back home to help hold the family together. When her father was released, she followed him to Barcelona, trying to rebuild their life abroad. But something changed. In Barcelona, she met Jeffrey Johnson, a 78-year-old British fraudster who was orchestrating one of the biggest tax scams in UK history. A quiet businessman on the surface, but underneath, he was the architect of a carousel VAT fraud worth over £1 billion. Here's how it worked. The scam involved buying mobile phones VAT-free within the EU, importing them into the UK, and selling them at full price, then disappearing without paying the VAT to HMRC. Repeat the process, disguise it with fake companies, and rotate traders to keep the money moving like a carousel. The scale was mind-blowing. Phones were being sold at such a rapid pace that the gang appeared to be trading more phones than were actually sold in the UK during that period. It was bleeding the UK taxpayer dry, £1 billion gone. And Sara, she wasn't just helping, she was cleaning the money. She coordinated shell companies across Dubai, Switzerland, and Hong Kong. She managed the paper trails. She built real-looking businesses with fake addresses. She signed documents, moved funds, and made it all look clean. While some in the gang lived lavishly, flash cars, yachts, watches, Sara stayed invisible. No flash, no drama, just silence and spreadsheets. But behind the scenes, investigators were closing in. In 2010, the operation cracked. HMRC and the UK's National Crime Agency launched Operation Vaulter. Raids across the UK led to the arrests of 18 individuals. The evidence was stacked: bank records, offshore transfers, phone logs, and thousands of emails. In 2013, the case finally went to trial. Sara was one of the accused charged with conspiracy to acquire criminal property. But midway through the proceedings, she vanished. No announcement, no passport records, no final appearance. Just gone. She was still found guilty, sentenced to 8 years in prison, and she was added to Britain's most wanted list, the only woman on it. But where was she? For 9 years, Sara Panitzki vanished without a trace. Interpol listed her, so did Europol, but no one could find her. She wasn't in Dubai. She wasn't in South America. She was hiding in plain sight in the tiny town of Santa Barbara, Catalonia. There, she used a new name, Maria Antonietta. She rented a modest apartment, drove a battered car, walked her dogs every day. No phones, no social media. She lived simply. No one in town knew she was a fugitive. She paid rent, she kept to herself. Her flat had a broken washing machine and a pool she rarely used. The luxury gone. She was even careful not to attend her own father's funeral in 2020. Back in the UK, courts issued a confiscation order demanding £2.45 million in unpaid criminal gains. She paid none of it. By 2022, interest and penalties had raised the total to £3.7 million, growing by 538 a day. Still, no sign of her, until one mistake gave her away. In February 2022, Spanish authorities narrowed in on her routine: the daily dog walk. Same time, same route, same silence. On February 27, 2022, at around 1:30 p.m. during Spain's traditional siesta, two plainclothes officers waited along her route. She turned a corner and they moved in. She didn't resist. She handed over an Italian ID fake, but her fingerprints confirmed everything. Sara Panitzki was arrested after 9 years on the run. In June 2022, she was extradited to the UK. By then, she wasn't facing just her original 8-year sentence. She now faced an additional 9 years for failing to repay the confiscation order. Total sentence, 17 years. She claimed she had no money, that she had lived simply for years. No property, no accounts, boat or no cars, no valuables. But investigators didn't believe it. 17 years in prison. And yet, to this day, none of the money has been recovered. Did Sara Panitzki really vanish to escape justice? Or to quietly protect millions in stolen money? She wasn't the loudest, she wasn't the flashiest, but in the end she was the last one standing. And when justice caught up, it asked a final question. If the money's gone, was justice really served? Like, subscribe, comment, thanks for watching. If you want more real-life criminal takedowns and hidden truths, subscribe now, because sometimes the quiet ones are hiding the loudest secrets.